Goedenavond allemaal. Even een korte test weer. CryptoManen, hebben we geluid? Goed beeld? Ongelooflijk. Shout-out naar CryptoManen. Duurde even, maar hij heeft het inmiddels onder controle, dus goed bezig. Hey, welkom allemaal. Vanavond EME met Stevie Long. Hij is een klein beetje Nederlands, vertelde hij net. De moeder van zijn opa is dus Nederlands, dus misschien moeten we opletten wat we allemaal zeggen. Ik ga nu over in Engels. Ik hoop weer dat jullie ervan genieten. En ja, blijf lekker kijken tot het eind. Volgens mij wordt het interessant. So Stevie, welcome at our channel, DutchCryptoManen.
Thank you, Chris. Good to be here.
Yeah, I just give a short introduction. Also about what you just told me. You're a very small part of Dutch, huh?
A little bit Dutch.
A little bit.
I was born and raised in New York. My family's been in New York for many generations, but New York was originally settled by the Dutch. It used to be called New Amsterdam.
Yeah.
So my grandfather's mother, she was Dutch. She had the wooden shoes, the clogs.
Yeah.
Dutch. I mean, I'm an American mutt. I got some Irish, I got some German, you know. I like to say I'm in New York.
Yeah. Nice, nice. Those are nice details. Stevie, welcome again. Perhaps, I don't know if it's necessary for everybody, because you are a bit of a VIP, I think. At least famous. For me, doing this, you are a VIP. But please, introduce yourself.
So my name is Stevie Long. And I'm somewhat new to the crypto space, which is to say the last 25 years, I've been living and working in Hollywood. And I make movies, I make TV shows. Some of them you may have seen, Sons of Anarchy, Starsky and Hutch. I'm most proud of this indie film. I made a little indie film called Strictly Sexual. And the reason that movie is important is Hulu streaming had just started. I remember it was about 10 years back. And I made this little indie film, and the medium is always changing. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, people were pirating. They were taking movies off the internet, and Hollywood was going crazy. The studio said, we're losing money. So they said, hey, we have to try and get ahead of this. So what they did was they created streaming channels, which at the time, people said, you know, they would kind of sneer, no one's going to watch TV on their computer. And it's a perfect example of technology meeting convenience, which is to say, sure, back then it was a pain in the neck to watch a movie on a computer. But now we all have smart TVs. I press a button, boom, and I can watch anything on the internet, on any channel. So my timing was good in that I made a little indie film, put it on Hulu, and it became the most popular movie year after year after year. So it did. Yeah, it did really well for my investors. They made a lot of money on it because, you know, we made this film for, you know, on a shoestring budget, and it was shown around all over America day after day. So we're in the same situation now where people are looking at DeFi as a means to fund things. And the studios, again, are saying, oh, we don't want to change because they're doing really well the way they are, which is to say their old traditional models pay them well. Just like they did not want to stream movies. They didn't even want videotapes when those first came out. You know, like they had to overcome and adapt and basically do it themselves. So we're in a situation right now, and people who follow crypto know this, DeFi can replace just about any form of a financial instrument, right? Like we all know, we're in crypto. My bank charges me 20% to take out a loan. They give me hardly anything in interest to keep it there. Yet if I go to crypto, I can get massive yields, or I could borrow cheaply on crypto. So it's the same thing. We're eliminating all those people in suits in offices and towers paying themselves salaries, really, because a movie studio is a bank. A movie studio is a bank. Instead of a loan officer, they have a creative executive, you know, who decides, okay, here's $100 million to go shoot a movie. Yeah. So by eliminating that, we're going to see DeFi replace a lot of film financing. And eventually Hollywood will adapt. They don't want to do it now, you know, because they're making money the way they are. but I am the first one to say, hey, you know, as an indie filmmaker who's done this before, let me apply the DeFi model, because compounding this timing wise, all these streaming channels want content. You've got Apple TV, you have Amazon, you have Netflix, you have HBO Max, Disney Plus, and there's all these channels that are doing well, but they need content, they need movies. And because of COVID, there was nothing filmed for a year and a half. So there was no production. There was no TV shows or movies being filmed for a while. So it's really supply meets demand, or I should say demand is greater than the supply.
Yeah.
It's perfect timing to get involved with DeFi, perfect timing to sell a movie, and most importantly, it's exciting. It's fun. I mean, there's a lot of great projects out there doing things that I don't understand because I'm not technically savvy, but this is something that it's easy to get your brain around. It's something I've always done, and that's make movies that people enjoy, that we can watch. So, you know, you're investing in something you can see and say, oh, look what we have here. It's not a meme coin. You know, no disrespect to people who made money with meme coins. This actually has a use case where in a perfect world, we go beyond just one movie. We make more movies. We make TV shows. We become a virtual movie studio. Because again, a movie studio is really just a lending institution, and that's what DeFi is.
That's
that
true.
was a longer answer than you expected, huh?
No. This is your time. Especially now you're on camera for once. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, where you in? How did you came in touch with crypto anyway? Not your project, but just in before you started investing, or?
You know, like a lot of us, I had heard about it for years, right? Like I had heard crypto, and you don't really take it seriously until it touches you in some way where it gets your curiosity, right? Like we've heard Bitcoin and Dogecoin and all these things. And I want to say early this year, I heard about the whole GameStop thing where these guys on Reddit, you know, all this story, the short squeeze. And I said, now that intrigues me. Like, I just like the idea that a bunch of regular guys on Reddit said, fuck the system, you know, like screw Wall Street. And I said, you know what? I really am interested now because I saw that effect. They can have that effect. And I thought, there's a lot of people out there who want to get involved in movies. And that's how I made this connection, right? Like typically when I make an independent film, I either go to, you know, private equity, or I find like 3 rich doctors and they all put in X amount. And I realized, oh, wait a minute. Okay. So I could just get, instead of 3 guys with $1 million each, I could get 100,000 people with $50 each, and we could make a movie, and they'll make a return. So like all of a sudden the gears started turning, and I kind of taught myself the business, and it was a steep learning curve.
Yeah, but what happened with GameStop was about 4 months ago.
Yeah. Well, I want to say I got involved in January. Was that in January, February, GameStop? Yeah. So I've been at this
March, maybe. Yeah.
So I'm an expert in filmmaking, but kind of new to crypto. In all honesty, crypto is just a means for me to keep doing what I've been doing, which is artistically make movies, you know?
Yeah, of course. But you have a team around you, right?
Oh, yeah. No, believe me. One thing I learned in Hollywood is if you don't know something, hire the people who do. You know what I mean? Hire the people who know what they're doing. I have no problem deferring to, like, there's certain parts of filmmaking I love, other parts I don't understand as well. Just hire someone else to do it.
Yeah. It's not only in Hollywood, I think, but
anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. But shortly, you just said that you think it's a good project because you can make things tangible for the investors. Yeah, so they really have something, like you said, a use case. Can you tell us a bit more about the coin and how people can make profit or loss?
Absolutely. Well, like all tokens, the profit is in it grows, right? We all know this. Everyone starts buying the token, the market cap grows, the value of your bag grows. So I think that the excitement of this token will constantly grow. Like right now, we're at pre-production stages where, we have a script, we're attaching talent as we film the movie, right? And then as the movie is coming out and it's on Netflix and Amazon and Apple TV, like that's when it'll never stop growing, right? Like my early investors have already made 10x because they got in early, but there's no reason people can't get the token right now and make money next week because we have actors coming on board all the time. I'll have a new actor take a look at the script and they'll say, hey, this is great. And then they go ahead and put on their Instagram or their Twitter, hey, I'm in this new movie. And it's just like free promotion.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think tags grow immediately. They have been growing and they're just going to grow and grow. I think like unlike meme coins or other projects where the excitement wears off, there's always something new and exciting about a movie. Hey guys, we're filming. Hey, we got this new actress. Hey, it's coming out. And then guess what? Oh no, here's the sequel. Oh no, here's the spin-off TV show. Like it's always going to.
So you create your content during making the movie, of course.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds really valid and nice as well. Do you have any dates when you want to finish the movie? And
we're hoping to shoot this fall. I don't know if you heard about this in Europe, but we had a terrible hurricane in Louisiana. Like Hollywood shoots half their movies in Louisiana. Yeah, strange fact, but the state there gives us a huge tax break. So like if I shoot a $5 million movie in Louisiana, they actually cut me a check ahead of time, a tax credit they call it, because you bring so much business there. When you show up with, a crew of 50 people and you're staying there for a month, it boosts their economy. So it's a huge tax credit to work there. And I can pre-sell the tax credits. So actually when shooting a movie, when I say it's a $5 million budget, I don't actually have to show up with $5 million. I get foreign pre-sales. I get this distributor in Bulgaria pays me X amount. I get the tax credit here. So you can actually shoot a $5 million movie starting with the $1 million or $2 million in cash. Yeah, so a lot of people don't know this. I mean, this is what I do. I've been doing this for 25 years. So doing that, we want to shoot in Louisiana because of the hurricane. Might be delayed. I'm waiting to hear from my location scout. Right now, they half the place is out of power. So might get pushed until December. I mean, even if the movie gets pushed till early next year, it doesn't affect the token growing, which is to say people are still buying the token. People are still investing in the idea. People know that, we're going to be making this movie and others. So it's possible the movie gets delayed because of the hurricane, but that said, it's still going to grow.
Yeah. Before I continue to the questions of our community, I have another question, but I explained to you before, Dutch people are a bit critical. Huh?
Sure.
I never saw a project which could have an ending date.
Okay, the first movie is just the beginning, which is to say, sure, I've named the project after the first movie, VoodooBikerGang. Just so people could get their brain around it. Like, oh, okay, that's the token. They're making a movie, and it's bikers fighting monsters, and it's just something we could get our head around. Like, we just know, like, all around the world, horror and action with a little bit of comedy, like, it all translates. Like, everywhere you go, doesn't matter if it's Asia or it's Europe or it's South America, people will want to see that type of movie. So I came up with that movie and that title so people could get their brain around it. But this is just the beginning, which is to say, we make this movie and then guess what? Money comes back in with the token. It expands. I sell the first movie. Then we make movie number 2. Then we make movie number 3. I mean, I like to a year from now, maybe we have a market cap of 500 million and we're shooting 10 movies a year because this is what Warner Brothers does.
Good that you explained this because first of all, it sounds a bit like we're making a movie, start filming it in September, then it will end. So it's good that everybody knows that there are more future plans in you. Yeah. Great. About the movie, we have someone who really researched everything, not only from your coin, but from, and I just read out loud the questions from our community, of course. And she said, I've read in the script that you kill all the Euro types. Can you still change that to something else? We don't like to get shot. And as we are investing in your movie, don't we deserve at least one survivor?
Well, here's the other thing with scripts. They always change as well. not carved in stone. And it's funny, like sometimes when I'm writing a script, just to like give the idea of like an archetype, I will say, you know, a mustache twirling East German. And I know the Germans will say, what? Why are we always villains? You know,
why always me?
Why are the Germans so bad? I'm German. No disrespect to my German friend. So I think that, you know, yes, that's a good point. And, you know, I want to have a very diverse cast. Like the breakdowns of the heroes and the villains, they're going to be black, white, Asian, from different countries. You know, like this one actress we have, Sonali Castillo. She's great. She was on the show The Outpost, and she's Dominican. She speaks French. She speaks Spanish. You know, so it'll be a lot of fun just to have like that cultural diversity. So yes, my European friends, you won't just be villains. I promise.
Good. I think everybody feel better now. What final market cap do you want to reach?
Well, I think a coin like this, there's no reason it can't reach a market cap of 100 million or 500 million. I mean, I don't know if it's a bad thing for us to grow really big, because cash is king in Hollywood, which is to say, if I have the money to shoot movies, there's plenty of talented people who want to work. You know, usually what stops a movie from getting made is everyone has their hand in the pie, right? You have the producers, they each get their $1 million fee. Then you've got the distributors and they have their $1 million fee. Then you have the studio. Just like I explained earlier with the banks, by removing banks, you know, you realize like, wow, all that interest they charge to borrow and the interest they don't give you, like they've been keeping it all this time. Same thing with Hollywood, you know, so by removing that, if we build a big market cap, we can make a lot of movies, you know, and with today's technology, you could actually shoot movies inexpensively. Like I'm not out to compete with Marvel, right? I'm not making $100 million movie, but you can make a great movie for $5 million. You know, like I have a producer I know, this guy, Jason Bloom. He has a whole business model where he shoots movies like The Purge, right? And these, The Conjuring. He's made these movies super inexpensive. He never spends more than $5 million on a movie. And they do really well because he makes little contained horror movies. He gets talented people, and it's a good film.
Yeah. And to fund the movies, you're gonna take out money of the liquidity pool, I think.
Well, here's the wonderful thing, because a lot of people are nervous. Oh no, you can't take $1 million out of the market. And they're right. And here's the beauty of it is, now that crypto is recognized as an asset, right, as the market cap grows, there's actually banks in Beverly Hills that specialize in lending money to film producers like myself. And we say, hey, look, this is the market value of this crypto, and we'd like to borrow $1 million against $3 million worth of crypto. And they recognize it as an asset. So this way, we don't take money out of the project. We borrow against it. We leverage it.
Yeah. I think it's very good that you made this clear, because a lot of people thought, yeah, then you make the movie. Market cap is, for example, 20 million. You need 5 million for the movie. So everything will increase with 25%. Yeah. Sure. It's good to understand. Aren't you afraid? Because you said you are the first one who's trying this. Aren't you afraid that a lot of people will copy this?
Well, Hollywood will be close behind. There's no doubt. There's no doubt that I think a few years from now, there will be Warner Brothers coin, you know, and there the Rock token, because they recognize that, hey, if Star Wars is making a movie, you know, people love Star Wars, they could just issue tokens, and you get your token. Instead of a movie ticket, you get a token, and you use that to go see the movie. You also use that to download the film. You could also sell it as an NFT, or you could buy it in bulk. They could fund the entire Star Wars movie just with pre-sales, just like the tokens ahead of time.
Yeah.
The people who are getting rich from movies now, they don't want to do that. because it puts them all out of work. You know, you've got, just like all those bankers, all these studio executives and producers would be out of jobs. So yes, they will be doing this. I don't know if it's going to be 2 years from now or 5 years from now, but just like with the college kids were pirating movies in 2002 and 2003.
Yeah.
And then in 2009-ish, that's when you had Instant Watch, Netflix, and you had Hulu come out. Hollywood will have no choice but to have their own version. So, you know, if I can get a jump on them, I might not be the biggest, but I will be the first. And that will be better.
No one can take that away from you now. And perhaps if you get this project really successful, people will start trying this sooner, as you just think.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I welcome the competition. It's not something that scares me. I mean, I didn't invent crypto. I'm just really super aggressive when it comes to, wait a minute, there's a way for me to make a movie. I'm going to go do it, just like I saw with streaming.
Yeah. Very nice. One more question. One of the perks for investors is that they can be in the movie itself as an extra. Are you also shooting some scenes abroad, or are there other perks for overseas investors?
Well, anyone who wants to hop on a plane and join us on the movie set, please do, because it's a lot of fun. It'll be exciting. There's going to be crowd scenes where there's, you know, because these bikers, they're nice guys. They protect this town. So when monsters come to town, when cultists come to town, they're like the heroes. They're anti-heroes, but they're the good guys. So there's plenty of opportunities for people to come down and join the fun. We'll put you in makeup. We'll dress you up as a biker. We'll dress you up as a monster. But if you can't, you know, a lot of us have to work for a living and can't just hop on a plane and come across the water. You know, we're going to have behind the scenes footage. You know, we'll have a website where we've got, you know, the talent talking, you know, hopping on Telegram and saying, this is the scene we shot today. And of course, once the movie premieres, you know, I can't go shoot half the movie in Europe. That would be expensive. But I can hold a premiere in London or East Germany or wherever, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, sounds great. I just got a message that that you should give me, how do you say this in English? The main role? Okay, people, I really need to focus on this. Next question, Stevie.
I want you to be in the movie, though, Chris. I can't be the star, but I can give you a role. I want you to be in my movie now.
Okay,
you could be the lovable Dutch guy, not a bad guy Euro.
Yeah. I have also a question about tokenomics, Stevie. There's a 10% tax. Correct. Where 5% goes to the holders, 4% towards locked liquidity, and 1% back to marketing and promotion. On the website, it says that every phase, a production wallet unlock at each phase. But you mentioned on Reddit that it wasn't needed because there is a bank deal. Can you elaborate on that, and on what point in time needs to be dealt with it? So you just explained a little bit. Did you change your plans during this project?
Yeah, there was a little confusion at first if I could take the loan out against the asset, right? Initially, we thought we'll have to take money out of liquidity, and I understand that would have made people nervous. And then also there was some issue as to how long I should lock the wallets, right? Like a lot of times people feel anxious if they see 40% of a token unlocked. So what we did is we tuned it so that we've got a pre-production wallet. I think it unlocks in like a month or so I could pay the talent. You know, these actors want to get paid up front. And then I have like a production wallet that unlocks another 2 months after that when the cameras are rolling. That's when you have to pay for the crew and the locations.
Yes, that sounds clear. Next one. This one is from CryptoNair. You get me all hyped on that you played in Sons of Anarchy. Everybody's talking about that, man. So how are you going to hype this project more and that we all stick here for the long run? So you just explained some actors will create some content. But yeah, don't you think you should announce your next movie before the first movie is finished? Or don't you feel some kind of pressure of this?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're used to this in Hollywood, which is to say you're always working on a couple things because you don't know which movie is going to go first, or you don't know which movie is going to be popular. There's been times where I've written a screenplay and I think it's great, and then no one likes it. Or other times I write something, I show my agent, I think I might have something here, and all the studios want it. It's hard to get. So all you can really do is like pick a genre everyone loves, right? Which is to say, I'm not trying to make a clever, arty, independent film. I'm not aiming for an Oscar, but I can make something funny. It can be exciting. It can be thrilling. So that's when I just put this idea of, what about bikers as kick-ass heroes, kind of ballsy and fun, like Deadpool, where it's R-rated, but we're laughing. It's a little ridiculous. I mean, they're fighting monsters. There's werewolves and vampires and all sorts of creatures and makeup. But it's the type of thing that if I shoot inexpensively, it's going to be very profitable. Like I said, Blumhouse, Jason Blum, as a producer, has done the same thing with his business model of he shot the first movie, The Purge, for like $2 million. And it led to this franchise and TV shows. So we're trying to do the same thing where we just have a very, very basic idea that'll play around the world. It'll have a big ensemble cast, a very international cast. And that's the type of thing that will lead to sequels. And at the same time, I have other ideas for movies. Like I have other ideas that we could shoot inexpensively.
Yeah, that's really important, I think. And that's also why I asked the questions, because creating content is fine. But when the first movie is finished, there should be a new point in the future where people can go through or take or make sure that you increase the investors.
Sure.
So it's kind of a unique thing you're doing, and that's why people are wondering how their investments are going to be safe for the long run.
Sure. Well, what they don't want to have happen is we've all seen, that one band that comes out with a great song, and then you never see them again, right? The one hit wonder.
But you got them that. A tattoo of them on your left chest, right? After the first song.
So everyone's nervous, like, okay, that sounds like a great movie, then what? So then it's just a constant making new content, which again, it sounds obvious, but if you have the money, you could always keep making movies. And people didn't have the access that crypto granted, right? Which is to say, a couple of years ago, someone couldn't say, I have a picture of a doggy, and all of a sudden they have $50 million, because they have some meme coin. I'm not saying I'm doing that, but I mean, this is a reality now where people see the ability to make 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times on their money if I'm bringing them a real product, right? If I'm bringing them 3 movies a year, well, then I expect they would want to put their money in that.
Yeah. Next question. You already answered a lot of questions, Stevie. So I need to, if you're wondering why I'm looking down, I'm checking on my phone. There, the questions are on it. The tokenomics, we just talked about that. This one also a bit in the same range. I just want to ask it. This one is from Andre. How much money is needed to complete the whole movie? And how much money are you going to spend on marketing? And will this movie be listed in theaters and cinemas, or on, like you said, streaming channels? Or
sure. Okay, so let me answer them in order. The budget on paper, will be about $5 million. But the beauty of it is, in Hollywood, we have a saying: it's easy to make a $5 million movie. First, get $1 million, right? And this is what I mean. You need that hard money, that liquid 1 million, because then with that first million, and usually that is the hardest, the first million is the hardest to get, right? Because that has an inherent risk, right? If I take that 1 million, I can either pay an actor whose value, right? Like a lot of times you turn on Netflix or the TV and you see an actor all the time and you're like, this guy shows up in a lot of movies. Well, there's a reason, because he sells all around the world. Maybe he's not popular in your country or even America, but that one actor, because I paid him $100,000 to appear in the movie, Tokyo says, hey, I'll give you $25,000 for rights to show the movie. And then Bulgaria says, hey, I'll give you $100,000. It's called pre-sales. I know it's a little different from crypto pre-sales, but it's called pre-sales in Hollywood. So that's one way. And then another way is if I've got $1 million in the bank, then I can show what's called the production services in Louisiana, or really any state, whether it's New Mexico that's offering tax credits. Then I'm going to shoot the movie there. They can pre-sell these tax credits. I hope this isn't boring. These tax credits, the state cuts a check for our production, right? People can buy that at 90 cents on the dollar. So they're making actually a 10% return. And then this way I'm getting cash money up front from the tax credit, and then I pay them back after the state pays me. So there's a lot of ways to skin this cat. Like movie financing takes a lot of clever wheeling and dealing. I've been doing it for a while. But to answer the question that was posed, $5 million on paper. Once I have $1 million I could borrow against from the project, we'll be up and running. And then as far as selling it, right now it's really a seller's market, which is to say, you know, I had a buddy last year, he shot this movie called The Banker with Sam Jackson, Anthony Mackie. They shot it for $10 million. They sold it to Apple TV for $20 million. Just boom, just like that. And then they just took it off their hands. Now there's all sorts of options. Maybe we turn around and just sell the movie for $10 million or $20 million to Netflix. Or sometimes I've had this happen where they license the movie, right? Like I keep the movie, but they say, we'll give you $1 million per year to show it on Netflix. And then another place overseas, you know, Hulu in Japan will say, okay, we'll pay you $400,000 per year, and you lease it, and then you get it back, and then you lease it again. Yeah, so there's all sorts of options. As far as actually putting it in a theater, probably not, only because there's so much money to be made in streaming. It's almost unnecessary, but maybe, you know, we'll keep an open mind. It's possible we put it in the theater.
Yeah, I think it's important to summarize for our community that the money where you will make the movie on will not come out of the liquidity pool. That's what you actually said, right?
Exactly. Right.
You will use it just for leverage to get funds.
And this is the beauty of crypto being recognized as an asset now. Like it's considered an asset class by the U.S. government. So this way, it has something which you could say just like a piece of property. Like this is its value, and present it to this is my collateral.
Yeah. So that's clear now, I think, so everybody understands. Can you tell us a bit more already about some actors, or is this top secret?
But most of the negotiations I have to keep quiet about because they're agents, not the actors. The actors are super cool, but the agents get very uptight. But one European who I want to put in the movie, my friend Johan Herb, he was in the movie 2012, and he's in this new TV show, The Lincoln Lawyer, on Netflix. You know, I want him to have a main role because he's worked with me on a couple things. But yeah, I know he's very popular. He's from Estonia, so I think he's pretty popular there in Europe.
Estonia, yeah. Okay, that sounds nice. And the other actors, will they come from the USA or?
I really want to get them from around the world. You know, like I want to get someone who's popular in Asia. I want to get someone who's popular in South America, not just to appeal to those audience, which is nice. You know, that's just found money. That's just free audience. But I just wanted to have that international feel because the truth is our audiences are not just American anymore. You know, it used to be 20 years ago when I started this, Americans watch American movies. Other people in the world watch Hollywood, but they also like their own stuff. These days, people around the world watch stuff from all over the world, which I think this sounds corny. I think it's making us a little closer. You know, I think like people who don't go outside their bubble and maybe travel so much, they're realizing like, oh, people in Spain are just like me. Oh, people in Greece, they have the same, they argue with their wife, you know, we're not so
Yeah, great example. uh, so actually, what you say is that you want at least one actor from every continent.
If I could do that, that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you also have a nice diversity, of course.
Yeah, diversity. It'll look colorful. It'll just, it'll have an exciting, different feel. You'll feel like you're watching something different. Like kind of this international cool biker gang, and they have magic powers.
Yeah. Nice. You have some more, another preview for our group about the movie, or everything needs to be maybe something nice? I don't know.
I don't want to talk about the next movies yet, because here's what happens. Here's what happens is people get attached to an idea, right? Like if I tell you, oh, in our next movie, we're going to do this. And then for whatever reason, if I can't, then I'm always apologizing. Like I know I had that other idea. So that's why if I don't talk about the next movie, it's not because I'm avoiding it. It's because I hate disappointing people.
Okay, that's a valid reason. I think you have more interviews than this one in your life. Okay. Then we stop about the movie. That is actually quite funny. His Telegram name is Terminator. So can you give us some good reason why we should invest in VoodooBikerGang? Some kind of pitch.
Sure. Well, I think that people always watch movies and TV shows. Like it's not something that's ever going to go away. And I know from working in this business, like I get royalty checks from movies and TV shows I worked on 20 years ago. Like they call it intellectual property, right? It's like, but like crypto, it's intangible, right? Which is to say, this project, when it owns Voodoo Biker Gangs, that could be taking money in for years and years, just that one movie. So just think if there's 2 movies and then 4 movies and then 10 movies, it reaches a point where the library, right, like the MGM library was just bought by Amazon for $9 billion, $9 billion. And that's just all the old movies. Like that's not anything new. So a library becomes very, very valuable. And that also, when you see someone like Amazon buying a library for $9 billion, what does that tell you? That tells you that these streamers are dying for content. And here's why. They need content for, number one, there's more streamers than there are people making content, right? Like 5 years ago, there was just Netflix. Now there's Netflix, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, HBO Max, and they all need original material, combined with nobody could shoot anything. Like production stopped because of the pandemic. So now they're hurrying to buy movies. And then I think that what's important to realize is Apple and Amazon pay so much money. They will overpay because they want to control what goes into people's living room, right? Like Apple wants to sell more computers and phones. So they'll pay $2 million for a movie because they want you to watch the movie, because when you're watching the movie, they see the little icon in the corner, buy the new Apple iPhone. And Amazon wants to sell you everything. So they'll spend $9 billion on a bunch of old MGM movies. And they're spending hundreds of millions now. They're making Lord of the Rings TV show, and they're spending $100 million a year just on a TV show. They're not going to lose money because they're going to sell $500 million worth of, paper towels or shoes. Doesn't matter. So it's when you ask yourself, like, okay, why invest in this movie? I think it's supply and demand. I think it's early adoption. All these studios will be doing this eventually, financing films with crypto. Why not be early? Why not do it now?
Yeah. To continue on the question before, how are you going to make sure that people keep believing in your project?
Well, I think just when you show some progress, which is to say, here's the script. Okay, here's some talent. And then once we shoot the movie, I'm sure some people will feel a lot better when they see a movie being filmed. But there's always going to be people who say, well, what if the next movie is terrible? There's always going to be a degree of doubt. And look, all entertainment has inherent risk, right? Which is to say, real estate we know is worth X amount. A Star Wars movie excuse me, sorry. A Star Wars movie could be terrible, right? Like we could all be surprised. It'll still make money because it's Star Wars, but with entertainment, you just take your best guess at what you think is going to work, right? Like, okay, a horror action movie. It's got sexy women. It's got kick-ass guys. It looks like a lot of fun. They own a biker bar on the beach and people are drinking beer and then monsters attack. Like, okay, if I shoot that for a price, it's going to make money. You know, that's going to be a profitable film.
Yeah. Sounds good. Just get in a question. Did you, I don't know this because when I do AMA, I don't want to have a lot of knowledge about everything because I want to keep the conversation open. But did you do an audit already, or are you planning to do this in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I could spend the $5,000 or $10,000, whatever they charge for the audit. I never saw the point of it because mostly people just like to see the audit and feel better about it. I mean, it passed BSC scan. The excuse me. The project isn't complicated. It's a very simple, like reflection token that we bought. We literally bought from Trust Wallet, the template. So it's not terribly complicated. I mean, anyone who's looked at it, I've had third parties look at it before they presented it to investors, and they always say it's fine. But yeah, I mean, obviously the contract is open. People can read it and double check it, see if there's any exploits or whatever they might be worried about.
Yeah. What's the biggest advantage if you are a holder of VoodooBikerGang?
Well, I think the advantage is you're investing in something you're excited about. Like I want to believe like people are emotionally invested and not just financially invested. Like, sure, I have Bitcoin, I have ETH, you know, I have tokens put aside for my daughter that I don't even know what they do, but I understand they're going to be valuable years from now and they're not going anywhere. But you also want to have those tokens where you could say like wow, this is really cool. I'm gonna go to the movie set. Or hey, I'm gonna watch this movie. I actually contributed to this. Or hey, I actually sent a message to the director. Or hey, you know, the actor gave me a shout out on his Twitter or whatever. I just think it's fun to be part of something. I mean, we all watch movies. We all enjoy movies. Like, why not have some tokens in your portfolio that's more exciting than B Pro? You know, no disrespect to Pro. It paid me well this year. You know,
I understand. Yeah, you really want to. Sometimes I cannot get the English words, but you really want to take the people from the script till making the movie, like to give them an. Help me, Stevie.
Like the enthusiasm, like
yeah, the enthusiasm, but that they can follow you all the road from the script till end of the movie. Yeah.
Join us on the journey.
Yeah. So then actually you let the people get the hype, because then on a birthday you can talk about, I just get a preview in this scenes or whatever.
Sure. Well, and I think we all, I think as people, and I'm the same way, we all like to be involved with something, I think, from the beginning. Like there's something kind of neat about when I say, you know, yeah, you know, I remember when they first opened that restaurant. Yeah, I was there opening night. Yeah, I know that chef. It's a familiarity when I walk in that restaurant. Like I've been going there since they opened. Like I take a certain pride in it. Yeah. Like I discovered that place. I always said that they had the best pizza. You know, like there's something fun. And I'd like to do the same with this movie where people were like, oh yeah, I told Steve, you know, make sure don't have all the bad guys be Euro. You know, like it's fun.
Yeah.
To be.
Yeah, 100% for sure. Yeah, that sounds really nice. I get some questions in now. MC Hammer wants to know, how big is the chance of getting a role in the movie as an investor?
Well, I think I could always squeeze in like a line or two, you know, even if you're just the guy drinking beer and you say, look out, you know, as the monster attacks, you know.
Let's see. Is this something only for the big investors, or is it for everybody, or do you have some kind of rules in that?
Well, you know what, I think that because crypto is so community based, I don't want to play favorites or discriminate like, oh, this guy owns more than this guy. You know, it's like I never ask people on the Telegram like how many tokens you own. You know, it's all the same to me. We're all on this journey together. We're all in different stages in our lives financially. You know, whether you bought 1 token or 10 million tokens, like you put your faith in me, and that means a lot. You know what I mean? So I don't want to necessarily play favorites with anyone. Like, oh, okay, give this guy a big role because he put in more money. But like, hey, you know what? Let's try and squeeze everybody in there. You know?
Yeah, but also because it's a movie where a